A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV, the perfect show to kickstart your day, bringing you the top national, international sports and business news. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us begin with the headlines. New 500 and 2,000 rupee notes to be available from today. Banks to stay open on Saturday and Sunday to deal with the rush following demonetization of old 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. Cash deposits of over 2.5 lakh rupees under the 50-day window to attract tax. 200% penalty in case of income mismatch. Prime Minister leaves on a 3-day visit to Japan. A civil nuclear deal expected to be signed following annual summit meet with the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. US President-elect Donald Trump vows to bind wounds of division. Hillary Clinton says America owes Trump a chance to lead. Obama invites him to the White House to discuss transition planning. World leaders congratulate Trump on his stunning victory, say they hope to work together for better ties. Thousands of protests across the US disapproving the verdict. Well, top story this morning, new 500 and 2,000 rupee notes will be available from today. Well, after taking the old 500 and 1,000 rupee notes off circulation, the government tried to contain the anxiety among the people by ordering banks to remain open full day on Saturday and Sunday to deal with the rush. Now, they have also expanded the list of areas where the withdrawn notes will be accepted till 11th of November midnight. Now, they include payments for metro rail tickets, a highway and road toll, purchase of medicines on doctor prescription from government and private pharmacies, LPG gas cylinders, railway catering and ASI monuments entry tickets. Now, a 72-hour relaxation for use of such notes was given yesterday for government hospitals, railway ticketing, public transport, airline ticketing counters at airports, milk booths, crematorium or burial grounds and petrol pumps. Well, a day after he announced the ban on 500 and 1,000 rupee notes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the nation to work collectively to create a prosperous country. The government also clarified that deposits of now defunct old 500 and 1,000 rupee currency notes in bank accounts will not enjoy immunity from tax, and that tax laws will apply on the source of such money.
वर्तमान में जारी 500 रुपए और 1,000 रुपए के करेंसी नोट लीगल टेंडर नहीं रहेंगे.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's move to demonetize 500 and 1,000 rupee notes is being hailed as a strike against hoarding of black money, corruption and counterfeit currency. The Prime Minister tweeted that the country has to work shoulder to shoulder and create a prosperous, inclusive and corruption-free India. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that the first 1 or 2 weeks may see fewer currency note replacements, but things will improve thereafter. Jaitley insisted that the move will make transactions digital and cashless, while allaying fears that housewives and farmers with genuine savings need not worry about depositing cash in bank accounts.
The long-term advantages to the economy are so significant that we would appeal to the people that relatively minor inconveniences for a short period of time should be borne, and we will try our best to minimize those inconveniences.
The government has assured that the decision will benefit everyone in the long term. It also maintained that people who accumulated black money, crime money or bribes will suffer, even as the parallel economy will shrink. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the government has warned that cash deposits above 2.5 lakh rupees threshold under the 50-day window would attract tax plus a 200% penalty in case of income mismatch. Now, Revenue Secretary Hansmukh Adia said last night that the ministry would be getting reports of all cash deposited during the period of 10th of November to 30th of December 2016 above a threshold of 2.5 lakh rupees in every account. He said that the tax department would do a matching of this with the income returns that have been filed by the depositors. Now, any mismatch by the income declared would be treated as a case of tax evasion. The government has allowed citizens to deposit in their bank accounts old currency of 500 and 1,000 rupee denominations which had been declared invalid. Well, the government's decision to demonetize currency notes of 500 and 1,000 denomination has met with a mixed response from the opposition parties. While most political parties welcomed this move, they also cautioned against the negative impact from improper implementation. Now, some also questioned its effectiveness in curbing the menace of black money.
Opposition parties including Congress, the JDU, RJD and the NCP have all supported the Modi government's decision to withdraw currency notes of 500 and 1,000 rupee denomination. However, the Congress has expressed doubts on the effective implementation of this decision.
We agree that the objectives are sound. We will have to wait and see how far those objectives are achieved.
केंद्र सरकार के इस निर्णय का मैं स्वागत करता हूं और इसका समर्थन भी करता हूं। शुरुआती दौर में लोगों को थोड़ी परेशानी होगी, है स्वाभाविक है, लेकिन कुल मिलाकर इसका लाभ ही होगा।
काला धन के मामले में कोई भी फैसला होगा हम लोग उसके साथ होंगे, लेकिन इसकी उचित व्यवस्था भी होनी चाहिए जो आम।
The Trinamool Congress opposed the government's decision, calling it an effort to cover up its failure to recover black money. The CPM also expressed doubts on the effectiveness of the scheme in curbing black money.
The Prime Minister has promised bringing black money back from foreign accounts. All those promises were made before elections. None of those promises have been kept. Now, instead of bringing back money from illegal accounts abroad, this is putting the common man under pressure. This has not at all been well thought out.
Government to demonetize rupees 500 and 1,000 rupee notes is not going to be any effective step to unearth black money. It's more a political posture adopted by the Prime Minister.
On Tuesday, the Prime Minister announced the government's decision to demonetize currency notes of 500 and 1,000 rupee. This is the second time that any government has attempted such a move in independent India. With Panchanan Mishra, Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, demonetization is also aimed to bring billions of cash in unaccounted wealth into the mainstream economy. The move has, however, evoked mixed reactions among the public as well. Take a look.
The government's crackdown on black money comes in an economy where nearly 40% is driven by small and medium-sized enterprises that largely run on cash transactions. Experts feel there will be a short-term pain and chaos for the working class, small businesses and people who deal with cash on a daily basis.
The fact remains is Indian population does not have access to the banking. Less than 50% people have an access to the banking. Maybe the agriculturists in the rural area, maybe the common man, etc. Those are going to have some difficulty.
The industry, however, is optimistic that demonetization move will curb unaccounted for cash in the economy.
We think that over time, it will actually improve the economy. Over time, it will lead to all transactions becoming transparent and nationwide, and that's a very good move.
In the past 5 years, circulation of all currency notes grew 40%. The growth in 500 and 1,000 rupee notes were even steeper. 500 rupee notes grew 76% between 2011 and 16, while 1,000 rupee notes rose by 109%. Triti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the government has suspended payment of toll taxes across all national highways to ensure a smooth passage of traffic. The Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, said that the toll tax will be suspended across all highways till 11th of November midnight.
कहा था कि टोल नाके पर भी 500,000 के नोट देंगे तो चलेगा, पर मुझे दोपहर को समझ में आया कि वो 2,000 रुपये दे तो चिल्लर नहीं है, वापस पैसे नहीं मिल रहे तो प्रॉब्लम है, लाइन खड़ी हुई बड़ी, तो हमने तुरंत 11 नवंबर 12 बजे तक हमने कहा टोल माफ.
Well, that is going to be a big relief for the Aam Aadmi, and banks are to be open on Saturday and Sunday. New notes are going to be disbursed from today. This is one big story that we'll keep tracking through the day. Time to take a very short break. Up next, we have more news. Stay tuned.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back after the break. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 3-day visit to Japan from today. Well, during the trip, the two nations are expected to sign a civil nuclear deal, besides discussing ways to step up cooperation in areas like trade, investment and security. Now, Prime Minister Modi will hold the annual summit meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and also meet the Emperor of Japan in Tokyo. He will then travel along with Abe to Kobe in the framed Bulletin train. He will visit the Kawasaki Heavy Industrial Facility in Kobe, where high-speed railways is manufactured. During the visit, the two nations are also expected to sign the Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement, which will facilitate leading US-based atomic companies to set up plants in India. Well, the two nations had sealed a broad agreement during Abe's visit here last December, but the final deal was yet to be signed as certain technical and legal issues were to be thrashed out. Now, cooperation in the fields of trade and investment and security, particularly in the context of continuing cross-border terrorism in India from Pakistan, are also expected to come up for discussions between Prime Minister Modi and Abe. Ahead of his visit, Prime Minister said in a statement, and I quote him now, "Our partnership with Japan is characterized as a special strategic and global partnership. India and Japan see each other through a prism of shared Buddhist heritage, democratic values and commitment to an open, inclusive and rules-based global order," unquote. All right, moving on to the big international story. Well, Donald Trump defeated Hillary Clinton to win one of the most shocking US elections. The victory upset major predictions that gave Clinton various degrees of comfortable leads in their election day predictions. Now, a reality television star, Trump was a political newbie who seemed to rewrite every rule in election campaigning. Now, shortly after his victory, rival Democrat Hillary Clinton called Trump to congratulate him.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. We have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. It's time.
The President-elect of the United States of America reaching out to the nation after winning a landmark election. The billionaire Republican candidate defeated a heavily favored Hillary Clinton to end 8 years of Democratic rule.
I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard.
The wealthy real estate tycoon and former reality TV host rode a wave of anger toward Washington insiders to win the race to the White House. His challenger, Clinton, banked on a gold-plated establishment resume that included stints as a First Lady, US Senator and Secretary of State. Trump comfortably took the battleground states where presidential elections are traditionally decided.
Ours was not a campaign, but rather an incredible and great movement made up of millions of hardworking men and women who love their country and want a better, brighter future for themselves and for their family.
Trump, appearing with his family before cheering supporters in a New York hotel ballroom, said it was time to heal the divisions caused by the campaign and find common ground.
We are going to fix our inner cities and rebuild our highways, bridges, tunnels, airports, schools, hospitals. We're going to rebuild our infrastructure. which will become, by the way, second to none. And we will put millions of our people to work as we rebuild it.
Spelling out his economic plans, Trump claimed he will double U.S. economic growth and embark on a project of renewal.
We will embark upon a project of national growth and renewal. I will harness the creative talents of our people, and we will call upon the best and brightest to leverage their tremendous talent for the benefit of all. It's going to happen. We have a great economic plan. We will double our growth and have the strongest economy anywhere in the world. At the same time, we will get along with all other nations willing to get along with us. We will be.
Trump's win rested on the solid support among a core base of white, non-college educated workers, with his promise to be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. Summing up the election verdict a short while before Trump's victory speech, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, was telling supporters in New York to go home. He said, "We are not going to have anything more to say tonight." Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Meanwhile, the defeated candidate for US President Hillary Clinton has pledged to work with the President-elect Donald Trump to unite a divided nation. Now, Hillary Clinton on Wednesday labored through a heart-wrenching concession speech she never expected to deliver, wishing Donald Trump success as president, but holding firm to the ideals that were central to her historic bid. Meanwhile, US President Barack Obama, who will hand over all of the presidential power to Trump on 20th of January, also called the nation to unite behind the controversial Republican.
I know how disappointed you feel, because I feel it too. And so do tens of millions of Americans who invested their hopes and dreams in this effort. We have seen that our nation is more deeply divided than we thought. But I still believe in America, and I always will. And if you do, then we must accept this result and then look to the future. Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead. Our constitutional democracy enshrines the peaceful transfer of power.
Hillary Clinton appearing in public for the first time since conceding, asking her supporters to give US President-elect Donald Trump a chance to lead. Clinton was composed and dignified, even as she admitted how painful her defeat was. Her aides throughout the ballroom sobbing during the remarks. While hoping Trump would be a successful president for all Americans, she also put Trump on notice that the core American values which many Democrats believe Trump abhors. On her bid to become the first woman president of the United States, Hillary referred to her own speech when defeated by Barack Obama in 2008 to become the Democratic nominee, saying that while she still could not shatter that highest and hardest glass ceiling, someday someone will.
This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, and I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country. But I feel pride and gratitude for this wonderful campaign that we built together, this vast, diverse, creative, unruly, energized campaign.
Donald Trump holds his first transition meeting with outgoing President Barack Obama at the White House today. Earlier, Obama pledged to work for a smooth transition of power. He also urged fellow Democrats to put aside their disappointment and try to strike a positive tone after a devastating electoral defeat.
I had a chance to talk to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was, to congratulate him on winning the election. It is no secret that the President-elect and I have some pretty significant differences. But remember, 8 years ago, President Bush and I had some pretty significant differences. So I have instructed my team to follow the example that President Bush's team set 8 years ago and work as hard as we can to make sure that this is a successful transition for the President-elect. Because we are now all rooting for his success and uniting and leading the country.
Trump's transition team for the 10-week period until inauguration will be led by Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey. On 20th of January 2017, he will be inaugurated as the President of the United States, the first elected office he will ever have held. From January, the Republicans will not only control the presidency, but both houses of Congress, defying pollsters' predictions. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And congratulations are poured in from across the world for the new U.S. presidential-elect Donald Trump. Now, world leaders expressed hope for working together and having a better ties with the United States.
Congratulatory messages poured in from across the world on Wednesday as Donald Trump became the 45th President of the United States. President Pranab Mukherjee extended his greetings to the U.S. President-elect, saying his win is a celebration of the spirit of individual heroism that has always defined the American national identity. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump to convey his wishes. He hoped the two nations continue to build on the bedrock of strong Indo-U.S. ties. World leaders, including Mexican President and the European Union, congratulated Trump and expressed hope for mutual work and better ties.
Acordamos que nuestros equipos entren en contacto para empezar a delinear una nueva agenda de trabajo que incorpore los temas de interés común.
The United States of America have a wonderful constitution, and the president elected on the basis of the constitution has to stick to the fundamental rules of that constitution, and I'm sure that will be the basis also for the transatlantic relationship.
Россия готова и хочет восстановления полноформатных отношений с Соединенными Штатами. Исходим из того, что это будет непростой путь, но мы готовы пройти и свою часть.
Britain and the United States share values of freedom, democracy and enterprise, and I look forward to building on the special relationship we have between our two countries.
Les États-Unis constituent un partenaire de tout premier plan pour la France. Et ce qui est en jeu, c'est la paix, c'est la lutte contre le terrorisme.
And I'm going to work with President-elect Trump's administration as we move forward in a positive way for not just Canadians and Americans, but the whole world.
Japan and China also hoped for healthy and stable relations with the U.S. President-elect, while the NATO Secretary-General said a strong NATO was in the interest of the United States.
次期大統領ともですね、世界のさまざまな課題に共に協力して取り組んでいきたいと思います。
同美国新一届政府共同努力，推动中美关系持续健康稳定发展，造福两国和世界人民。
Our alliance has brought together America's closest friends in times of peace and of conflict for almost 70 years. A strong NATO is good for the United States.
Hollywood celebrities, however, expressed a shock over Trump's surprise win over Clinton. Many celebrities had openly backed Clinton and they took to social media to share their despair. Trump, a former reality star who has hosted The Apprentice, swept Clinton in battleground states like Florida, North Carolina and Ohio. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, protests were also held across the United States as Donald Trump emerged victorious. Now, hundreds of protesters gathered outside Chicago's Trump Tower to express their disapproval of the election of him as the United States president. Now, police had been stationed outside the hotel and tower since early Wednesday when it was apparent that Trump had defeated Clinton. Also, some 1,500 high school students walked out of class in a progressive San Francisco Bay Area city of Berkeley to protest against Republican Donald Trump winning the poll. The students held a rally before marching towards the University of California. Also, 120 anti-racism campaigners demonstrated outside the U.S. Embassy in London to protest at the surprise election of him as the next president of the U.S. They waved placards reading "No to racism, no to Trump" and depicted the president-elect as Hitler. Also, protesters took to the streets in Portland and Oregon. Some hundreds of individuals were seen gathered in Santa Cruz, California, chanting and raising their fists. Demonstrators marched through downtown Portland. The Portland protest began soon after Trump claimed victory. And finally, some cricket news. And England will resume their first innings at the overnight score of 311 for 4 against India on the second day of the first test at Rajkot today. Now, Indian bowlers were made to toil as England began their campaign on a promising note, riding on star batsman Joe Root's 11th century. Root's maiden ton on the Indian soil was laced with 1 6 and 11 fours, while Ali struck 9 boundaries for his 99 not out. The duo shared 179 runs for the 4th wicket to bail England out from a tricky 102 for the loss of 3 wickets. Now, Ben Stokes was the other unbeaten batsman at stumps. For India, R. Ashwin took 2 wickets, while Ravindra Jadeja and Umesh Yadav claimed a wicket apiece.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Well, that's all in this edition of news. Thanks for watching.